Hello, hi everybody. This is your host Ray Teo from IQI Canada, and we are back on again this week. And of course, this is my beautiful partner here, Davina, is also here to be with me to share a little bit about a properties here, commercial properties in Canada. Is a little bit different than Asia country. I was in Asia doing some leasing in commercial as well for properties in Malaysia. And notice there are big difference. It's not the same. So, however, we have our beautiful lady here, Davina. Can you say hello, Davina?
Hello, everyone. My name is Davina. I'm a realtor at IQI, Juwai IQI. It's nice to see you guys again.
Yes, yes. As always, when we have uh, real estate, they are comprising of lots of different area, right? So
Hmm.
we do resale market on properties, on houses and homes,
Hmm.
and also pre-construction. And then we have those built to suit, and then I build houses too for my clients, custom built. It's a little bit different compared to resale, and also you see a different in commercial. So I've been doing commercial for a great number of years. I've been in business for almost 30 years, and Davina has been around what, 8 years, 5 to 8?
Yeah, so
Yes,
almost 8 to 10 years.
yes,
Around
yes.
10, I guess. But yeah.
Okay, and Davina also have done some commercial leasing as well. So we IQI Canada here, we do leasing, commercial leasing and sales or industrial leasing. So I've been through all those, and today we're going to talk about the commercial leasing. So lots of people always say, "Hey, I'm now here in Canada. I want to start a business. What do I do and how do I go about it?" And I can assure you, not all real estate agent knows what they are doing in this
Yeah.
particular field. So we're lucky to have Davina and myself here. I'm a commercial agent, so we can give you more insight of what commercial leasing today the topic, because there are lots of topics, right? So
Yeah.
sales and business sales, and sales of plaza, and those are all different entities. So but we talk about commercial leasing because some people, they come to Canada, they say, "Hey, it's too old for me to start a job. I need a business going on, and I know people from Asia that wants to me to get supply for me from Asia and then come to Canada to start a business. So where do I go about? How do I do it?" A lot of people have uh, little idea. They don't know where to go, how to do it. And
Yeah.
I believe these are the few questions that you should need. First is, like, you have to evaluate what kind of business you are in, right, Davina? So,
Yes.
like, is it for service oriented, or is it product oriented? So these are the things that you need to see. Like, some people, they like to get products from China or anywhere from another part of the world to bring it here, and then they retail it, right? So again, for that retail store, you need maybe a storefront or storage. So it's also things that you should consider. These are the things that you have to ask yourself. What do I want to do? And then the thing is, you have to see what is your target. Some, they have industrial area, they have businesses like in the mall. How do I go about it? Renting a place, right? And
Mm.
they also different, because in the mall they have a percentage rent. Also, I'll put in more detail later on. And they are also, when you go to industrial, you got TMI, TMI, what it means is taxes, maintenance, and
And the
other.
management
Yeah,
as a maintenance fee, right?
yes.
As I know.
So this is what Canada is more about. You have to know what is the expenses that you will get involved, and what is base rent, what is gross rent, what is single net, double net, and triple net. So those three items are different. We use it as a commercial term. A lot of people do not know what those are all about. What is that? Hey, I'm all blur. What is a gross rent, right? What is
Mm-hmm.
accumulative rent? So those are the things that people have to know. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so first evaluate what your business need, how big a storage you need. You don't want to rent a small space and then you're locked into and you say, oh no, I need to get a bigger spot, right? So you have to assume what do you want. Some people they like a storefront which is consists of like maybe 1,000 square feet or 500 square feet just for the storefront, and then at the back they can use it as a warehouses. So these are also, then you have to go to the industrial area where you're close to the residential and a little bit of commercial. And then some, they just strictly on commercial properties that you only strictly doing retail. So those are also different. All right.
Yeah, there's
So,
a lot of regulations here in Canada, especially some zoning, and that means how you can use the language for the com the commercial or for right?
okay. Davina, you
Yeah.
still there? You're a little bit
So hello.
cut off here and there. Can you hear me clearly or?
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay right now.
Okay, so usually when we talk about commercial term, is like the lease. Do you want a long term or short term lease? A short term lease could be 2 years, and then a long term could be 5 years or 10 years, right? So
Mm-hmm.
these are the things that you need to see yourself. What do you want to do? So those are the lease. Because if you sign a long term lease, then you're stuck with it for that location. See, sometimes you say, hey, I need a bigger spot because my stuffs are coming. It's going to be like a truck load or a 40 by 40 loading dock that you need the truck to come by or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So this is your requirement. And then talk about the lease. Do we usually use a lawyer or do we not? This is very critical, right? So a lot of people say, hey, I'm just renting a place, I don't need a lawyer. But we always I always tell my client, get a lawyer's opinion, you know before you sign the lease. It is our duty to let you know whatever that is in the fine print. When you sign a lease, commercial lease, there are lots of detailed information in there, right, Davina?
Yes, that's a critical thing because the commercial list it's kind of different. I would say very different with the residential, right? They don't have like most are they don't have standard. Most are usually drafted by the landlord and the lawyer.
Mhm.
So that's some some details we need to go into. So getting a lawyer is our suggestion.
Yes, yes, we recommend that heavily because you know what, the landlord usually the complex like plaza
Mm-hmm.
or a mall or anything, the strip commercial retail store, they have a lawyer for them to prepare their documentation, their
Mm-hmm.
leases. So most of the landlord, they have their leases all according, they will use their own lease offer. But
Mm-hmm.
if you, which is advantageous to them themselves, the landlord, because the landlord want to cover all their butts just in case anything could happen, right?
Yes.
Especially for lawsuit or anything, right, Davina?
Yes, yes, totally. So because when you're having a business, it will be a long-term thing, right? You have to invest your money in it, and it's lot of thing to involve. So it's a very long-term plan. So we will suggest getting a lawyer to go through all those details and plan ahead to get minimize the risk or minimize the disadvantage from your side because the landlord getting their lawyer, right? If you are
Yes.
not, you might be
That
have
means
some trouble
if you
in the
don't get,
terms.
yeah, if you don't get your lawyer, then you need to rely on your realtor, like experienced realtor like Davina or myself, so that because we see so many offers that is returned by the landlord's
Hmm.
lawyer. So the landlord lawyers usually favor their clients, right?
Of course, of
So as
course.
for yourself, if you don't care, I will give whatever my landlord wants, then you don't need a lawyer. But however, if you think that you might get stuck for 5 good years, and
Hmm.
then if anything happens, you need to pay. So my recommendation is have your lawyer take a look at it and see if there's any special clauses that might be scratched out to your disadvantage, right?
Hmm.
So otherwise, if you sign in, then you'll be stuck for 5 years or 10 years, whatever the duration of your term.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, this is also, and also your costs, whether you fit your budgets, right? You have to know how much can I pay for the rent. Let's say if you want uh, a good location like on Young Street or on Highway 7 right in the center, and then you'll pay more. Of course, it's on the main artery of the area, or certain area like in Markham or in downtown. So these are the things that you pay more, but because of the congestion, the traffic congestion, and a lot of businesses are running that way. And also, I would recommend you have a good realtor to check around what are the neighbors that are renting for, so that you don't overpay the, because commercial lease, there's no control. Okay, the landlord can set their own prices. It's
Hmm.
up to you to pay. If you are agreed and willing, you pay the price. So it takes two, right? A willing buyer and a willing seller. Once you bind them together, we got a contract. So this is a important issue too. You have to get a good realtor that can give you a better insight of the location, the space, see how big you need, and then also see if there's any things that you need to do before. Because let's go further on the gross, the rent, right? The lease. So, anything that you want to add on about before we go into the understanding of your lease, right, Davina?
Well, so I guess we will go step by step into it, right? So, yes, as you mentioned, we have to know those things detailedly, especially how much you are paying and what's those things including in the rent and what those terms are. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So first is very general. It's called the gross rent lease.
Hmm.
What gross means? It means okay, I'm going into that area, and then I pay this office or this space for so much, and
Hmm.
then you say, okay, let's say I pay this one for $5,000 a month or $3,000 a month, and if it says gross rent, that means everything is included: your taxes, your utilities, your insurance, maintenance, nothing to do. So you just go in there and pay your $5,000 a month, and that's it. Okay. Well, of course, if you have your Wi-Fi now today, they might not including your Wi-Fi or your phone, right? Nothing, except those most maintenance are the utilities and common area. Sometimes you have to use the common area in the general office, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most offices, they are gross rent lease because they have a hallway, they have the elevator and everything. So that usually applies in offices, right? Davina, gross rent. So these are
Yes.
the gross lease, yes. So most people who need some accountant and those insurance guys, they usually go for the gross rent lease, and they don't have to pay anything. They would say, hey, you cover everything. I come in 9 to 5 daily, or maybe sometimes those are generally good for offices.
Yeah.
And and there are also a few kinds of those net leases, right? Like just
Mm,
now I mentioned single net, double net, and triple net. It sounds very, very complicated. I say, what the hell is that, right? When you say, okay, they ask so much, and then they say, oh, that is triple net or double net or single net. So uh, if you sign a triple net, it's very simple. That means you pay almost everything, triple net. Okay, when you see net, 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 usually on the listing they say give you a price, and then they say net, net, net. So then oh, I have to pay the base rent, and then we have to pay the maintenance. I have to pay the property tax, right? And I have to pay all the utilities, right?
yep.
So nothing is escape. What happened if they say, hey, it's only double net? Okay, so double net means you only pay the base rent, taxes, and insurance. Okay, those are double net. Property insurance is like in case someone slip and fall. All right, so
Mm-hmm.
you have to pay, and then or if it's a single net, usually single net that means you pay the base rent plus either one. Okay, single net, that means plus one net. Either they say, okay, you pay your own insurance, or you pay maintenance, or you pay your utilities. So those are the single net. So because you know why? Because it's a common area, a lot of people go in, and then you have your own spot or whatever. Then you pay only single net, whatever you use. Right? So those applies to different kind of buildings, different area. So those are the confusion. Most people don't know what those means, and then some landlord will add on more costs. They say, hey, you got garbage remover. You have to get your own garbage bin,
Mm,
especially industrial area, right?
yeah.
So and then some restaurant they do a lot of those garbage. So they say, hey, you have to get your own garbage bin on top. Those are what your personal usage, your own. So the neighbor will not have to come and throw all the garbage into yours. And then there's another one. It's called the percentage rent lease. I did mention earlier. Percentage net rent lease basically apply to those are in the mall. Okay, whatever your sale today. Let's say I make like today my sale was 4,000. The mall you're selling like whatever they have franchise like walk and roll or whatever, right? So those kind of food court, and then they will go by percentage rent. That's to make it more interesting is like if my gross sale today is $5,000, the mall would take like okay 7% plus a base rent. So those are called the percentage rent. So a lot of businesses are like this, especially franchise. Okay, they will have to punch in whatever sales they make, right, for that day, and then they have to register it, and then at the end of the month they pay the management. Those are the so that's why they have lots of different activities going on to generate more people to come to the mall. So those are the percentage rent. So if it's a busy mall, you will have to pay more. If it's a slow, brand new mall, then their percentage will be lower. So yeah, so these are the different, right? Because last time I rented a place, it's called Made in Japan, and now they make much, right? So like they have those kind of food court that would do it, and then they go by percentage, whatever you sale of the day, especially during Christmas season, right? When
Mm.
people are shopping and they have children, they go all along, then they shop and then they have to eat. So they have to go to food court. Usually, food court will generate those kind of sales. It's called percentage rent. So during Christmas, then they will make more. During the off season, if not so many people, then they'll make less. It's fair. I think it's a fair thing going
It's
on.
yeah, it's fair for those people, those business who is not like consistently making money every month, right?
Mhm. Yeah, so after talking that, those are a few types of commercial leases, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but again, you have to know what is if you go into a plaza, you want to go in there, you have to check the area, right? Not only that, as a realtor, I will tell you, hey, Davina, what kind of business are you in? Is there a tenant mix, and is there anchor tenant over
Mm-hmm.
there, so that it will fit you? It's not that, oh my God, I've been to China at that time in Shenzhen. When they first started, I got scared because the whole building is doing mobile phone. So they have all cell phone all over sixth floor, seventh floor, and then but they are mainly target on those wholesale.
Yeah, so
But
those kind of is a wholesale. It's not kind of like a retail. It's
yeah,
like some
it's
like a theme park, right? They only do the one thing.
yeah, I'm just shocked how they do it. I was in China. I was going like, holy moly, the whole building is selling phone, and then I will walk here, and then I say, okay, I want. I went in with one of my clients. He says, okay, I want 200 of this Nokia phone at that time. A Nokia phone. How much? What kind of deal can you get me? And then he went upstairs to the next floor, and then he asked for the same phone and see what kind of deal they can crack in. But this is like a different type of marketing strategy in China. But however, in Canada, we don't do that. The landlord usually they want a variety, uh, tenant mix. They don't want you to have, okay, let's say if I have Rogers on this corner, a mobile phone, and then they don't want the end of the building there and another Rogers going in. Maybe Bell might be coming in, but if the mall is big enough, right? Especially when you go to a mall, you have all kind, right? You have
Yeah,
Rogers, you have Bell, you have everything because the space is big and they have a variety of stores
but
that they can.
they usually don't get one brand have two store of one brand. They don't want to those people just see one thing in the in the mall, right?
Yeah, that's what. So it's different when you go to into a plaza, a complex. Then it's different. We have to know what is the tenant mix over there, and is there for business purposes. So you have
Mm-hmm.
to know, hey, is there a bank there? Hey, those are the anchor tenant, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if I'm gonna do like I just lease out a spa for my client, and what I told them is like, you don't want another spa. Is there a competition clause in
Yeah.
there? So when I put in the offer for my client, I have to add in the competition clauses so that they can protect their interest. Because if I'm going to pay you this kind of rent, I want to be protected. I don't want my neighbor to open up a spa again.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
within this
that's
clause,
very crucial, right? You don't
yeah,
want the people doing the same thing when your client come to your store and they suddenly they found there was another one there. They
yeah,
suddenly
because
have choice.
yeah, but and again, everybody compete, and then we have to bring down the price, and then you cannot pay
It's not
rent.
good.
So the landlord doesn't like it either. So they like to have a variety
Mm-hmm.
of mixed tenant. So those are the more that you want to go in. You don't want to go in that this landlord doesn't care. As long as someone pay me rent, right? It's good for me. I'll take it. So you don't want those kind of places to be because
Mm-hmm.
you are not secure. You want to protect yourself, and that's why you need a good real estate agent that add in this clause. It's called
Mm-hmm.
non-competitive clauses, so that you can avoid competition right within your area because you don't want it to be another spa right next to me, or I have a Chinese food here, a restaurant, and I don't want my next door to have another Chinese food. I don't mind if it's Italian, but cannot be Chinese food in a shopping plaza. Okay, I'm
That,
not
that's
talking
that's
about.
very that's very important.
Yes, yes, yes. Those are the things that when you lease a property, you have to do some research, like how far the people, what kind of business you're in, and will people walk to my plaza, or will people walk into my door, or do they need to come over? Is there enough parking spot? And those are the things, right? I think the competition clause is very crucial. So
Yes.
if you don't mention anything, it's not in your clause, your landlord can say, hey, you didn't put anything in. So I have one spot open and empty for a long time. And this guy wants to come and lease it from me. And you are stuck for another 3 years. So I lease it to this guy. It's not my problem, right? You don't have
Mm-hmm.
that. So when I put in a clause for my client. I put in non-competitive clauses in there so they can rent it to other people beside the same business, right? Even Tim Horton, they would do that too, right? You cannot say, hey, I ran your spa plaza. I don't want next door to open up or a, a coffee shop, right? So some of them, they say, hey, I don't allow Starbucks to come into this plaza. They have the right. So as long as the landlord agree, if you have this clause in there, if your business is excellent, very good, you don't want Tim Horton to come in, okay,
Yeah.
or the Starbucks to come in. So this is what happened. And again, those are some of the clauses. And then again, the next thing is you can also ask for before you write the offer to with the landlord, you can ask for tenant inducements. Well, what that means is like, hey, I want to rent this place. I want to renovate, but your space is already very doesn't fit my needs, right? Let's say if I want to open up a martial arts school, and now there are so many, or it was a building like offices. There's so
Mm-hmm.
many walls to do it. So now I need to take down all the walls and do all my uh, thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have to say, hey, landlord, it's too much work for me to do it. I have to tear down everything and and then do the floor will be too much work for me. So you can always ask when the place is vacant for some time, you can always have your realtor to request, hey, I like to take all these things off, take off all the walls, take off the ceiling, right?
Mm-hmm.
And before I move in, at the landlord's cost, not at my cost. Because if I sign a contract for 5 years with the landlord, I'm committed. Now I want the landlord to commit something for me to my needs. So the landlord will consider. Some landlord will say, yes, Ray, we'll do it for you if you sign 10-year lease or 5-year lease. But if you're going to say, I'm going to rent it for 2 years and you want the landlord to do things, no, no, no. Landlord will not say, I will, do this for you. However, there's another choice you can do. You can say, landlord, you do it. You put the cost in, you clear it. I'll pay you monthly for the expenses incurred. So the landlord might say, hey, they will be doing it. I can do that. If I agree on $3,000 and to clear the space up and do whatever, do up, put up the wall I want, cost 10,000. I can ask the landlord to add that 10,000 into my lease, right? So let's say my lease is 3,000 a month, and then for 5 years period, I got 10,000 used up. I would say, okay, I'll pay 200 a month until the end of the term. So those are all negotiable. Just to let you know, in the commercial side, you can negotiate. So those are the tenant inducement. Whatever that's fit your needs, you need to do it. Some landlords say, I don't care. I have a new property. There's no aircon, no wall. Just like cement block that come up when they first build them. So you can say, hey, landlord, I want this property, but you have to do something for me. Put up a wall, put up the drywall and everything before I lease it, or put air conditioning. Some of them, when they are brand new, they have no air conditioning unit.
That,
Some tenant will have to do it themselves.
that's a big trouble.
Oh yes, yes. That's why you need a good realtor who knows how to negotiate. If not,
Yeah,
then the landlord say, "Hey, this is my spot. You want it? Take it as is, and you do whatever you want." So a lot of tenants they don't know. They say, "Oh shoot, the landlord is not doing anything, so I'll put in air conditioner, humidifier, everything in." Then at the end of the lease, what do I do? Do I bring the aircon with me? No, it's too much work, right? So that's
yeah,
why you have to negotiate. So those are the things that most people will have to check, right? So and then those are the leasehold improvement. That's how you want the landlord to do on the landlord part to do the
got
leasehold
it.
improvement for you, right?
Yeah,
So,
got
so
it.
it's very important. And very another important issue is like a renewal condition. After 3 years, do I have the option to renew for two terms or one term? If I have a 5 year uh, lease, what happened when you expire? And again, remember when you have a 5 year lease, you have to negotiate the lease at least 9 months before you expire.
Mm-hmm.
You know why? Because even though you have an option to renew, you need time to negotiate with your landlord to
Yep.
say, hey, after 5 years, what happened? Right, Davina?
Yes, that's very crucial.
Yeah. So
Otherwise, you will stuck in the place that you have no choice, maybe.
yeah, you're stuck there after the 5 years lease is done and over with.
Mm-hmm.
The landlord can kick you out,
Well,
and
that's
you
not bad.
might. Yeah, but you have to negotiate. Make sure, okay, 9 months before the lease expire, you have to talk to your landlord and say, hey, Mr. Landlord, my lease is coming up. Uh, let's negotiate on the pricing. If they agree, so we continue the other lease as per contract. So, uh, and also, one final thing is with that, you have to know, okay, make sure you look in the offer, contract to offer to lease, review it properly with your real estate agent, especially today, all the leasing always supplied by the landlord's lawyer.
Yeah, that's an important thing.
Okay, so those are the area that people should look into it on commercial leasing. This is just a general talk, a quick information. Next
Mm-hmm.
day, we'll have those seminars just based on the commercial and our office, uh, either Joseph Wu or myself will conduct commercial uh, real estate leases, in the office, and maybe we'll go live more about commercial leasing, so
That
everybody will get into
that's a good session.
it.
We
So
think we all need to know about it, right? Know
I
more
know.
about that.
So commercial, you have to understand them, and then if you have any questions, call me or call Davina, and we can solve your issue. Just inquiries. You can email us, can call us directly.
Hmm.
So there's no problem. Okay. So that's it for today. We just talk about general commercial leases, and of course, again, commercial leases we have many types, right? Industrial,
Hmm.
retail, commercial. We have shopping, mall lease, and also land leases as well, right? So good. Davina, anything to add?
Now you are about cover everything. I know you are such a senior a commercial real estate. You have been there area for that area, that session for a long time, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
later we'll cover more on the square footage on the commercial leases. Lots of people don't know how to measure. They never take the measurement on commercial leases. They say, "Hey, I rent 1,000 square feet," but when they move in there, they measure. Hey, it's not 1,000. Actually, there are more. It's a rentable area and leasing area. Okay, rentable and rent area is two different things because they are common area to include, like the elevator, hallway. All those are rentable area. Who pays for it? All the tenants, right?
yeah, we
So
should keep those for the next time.
okay, we can talk more. Yeah,
Yeah.
there'll be more. Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Davina.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ray. Got a lot of
Okay,
the information today.
excellent. So again, our numbers is underneath. Feel free to call us. Have a good night. Thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye.